Well, y'all, my anonymous giver did it again. Look at all these bags of groceries. Cat food, bags of cat food, case of cat food, pork chops, chicken, you name it. But I got bags of cat food in here. I've already put them up. Case of water, cat food. These 2 bags were just sent. I got a whole case of Gatorade power drink. So, I don't know. I'm truly blessed with this anonymous giver. Cake, cookies, what are they called? Peanut butter fudge no-bake cookies. And a piece of chocolate cake. So thank you so much, anonymous giver. I appreciate it so much. And this is hot. This is, looks like mashed potatoes. And I just ate lunch, so. But she sent a whole fried chicken right here. So, I'll have more chicken for dinner tonight, I guess. Orange juice. No, fruit punch. I'm sorry. But anyway, thank you so much, anonymous subscriber. I appreciate it so much. You don't know how much this helps out. You know, so I don't have to buy so much cat food for these 2 adopted cats that come around here and just adopted me. I never would have been able to feed them all this time without your help, that's for sure. And some of the other subscribers had sent food for the cats here quite a while ago, but they don't do that anymore. But yeah, I really appreciate this so much. I got cube steak. I think that's what, yeah, cube steak delivered. So I appreciate that. Thanks again, anonymous subscriber. I am truly blessed by having a friend like you. This is Sunday evening, and I told y'all I was going to cook my beans tonight because I'm going to post this video tomorrow. So I've already boiled the beans. I brought the water to a boil, and it gets a lot of stuff off of them. Now all I'm going to do is pour them in this colander, and I'm going to rinse them real good over here in the sink. Let's see if I can get this light on back here. I'll take them over here and just pour them in the colander. Those little beans want to stay in there, the split peas. But we're just going to wash them. I'm not putting them back in that pot, so that can go right in there. I'm just going to rinse them off with clean water. And I think I'm going to cook them in my pressure cooker. Because that is a big pot of beans there. But I'll have what's left of my chicken and my beans and maybe some creamed potatoes to eat this week. And I won't have to do so much cooking. Plus, I can freeze part of that, so I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put in, let's see, I have a measuring cup over here. Put in about 8 cups of water. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I may not have even needed that much, but I put in the full 8 cups of water anyway. I'm going to turn that burner on. Get all that hot. I've got an onion here that I'm going to cook. Oh, and I also have a big hunk of ham that I saved from, when was it, Thanksgiving or Christmas? Christmas ham, I think. Remember, I had used my new vacuum sealer to save part of the ham. Well, that's going to go right in. Big old hunk. There's like 5 or 6 slices of ham right there. And I'm just putting it right in the pot. I'm also going to dice up an onion. I mean, you can use a red onion, yellow onion, white onion, it don't matter, just an onion. Let me get the peeling off of it over here. Ooh, that onion is strong. And you know me and cutting boards, usually I just dice them up holding them. Make sure my camera's still on. Dice up this whole onion in there. It's not a very big onion. It's about a medium-sized onion. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of garlic salt. I've got about a teaspoon of chili powder. Sprinkle it in there. I don't want to pour it in there. I'll get too much. And I've got diced tomatoes with chilies. Now you can just put diced tomatoes without the chilies if you want. I'm going to use the chilies this time. Well, I just bought a can opener. What did I do with it? Here it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my packet with ham flavoring in it. I know a lot of times the recipe tells you to wait till the beans are cooked, but I'm going to go ahead and put them in there now because I want them to cook in the beans. I don't want to just flavor the water. And I've already got the ham slices in there anyway. I think I already cooked my ham bone in something else, so. But I think that's going to be good. I've got my 15 bean soup package. I've got the package of flavoring that came in with the soup. I put one whole diced onion, a medium size. I've got 1 can of the diced tomatoes with green chilies. And like I said, you can just put plain diced tomatoes, you know, the larger can, in yours if you want. And I put a couple of, like 4 or 5 slices of ham, honey cured ham in there. So that's how I'm cooking mine. Now, if you're gonna, and like I said, I boiled the beans for a few minutes in just plain water. And then I rinsed them, put them in my pressure pot. And they've been sitting there for about an hour in the water too, as well. So they've had an hour to soak. I'm not soaking them overnight. I just soaked them for an hour. And then the water was heated up. I drained the water off. I've rinsed them out. Now they're in the pot getting ready to cook. I'm going to put pressure on them. And I'm going to let them cook for probably maybe an hour. If you don't put them in under pressure, you can just put them in a regular pot. Cook them for 1.5 to 2 hours. I mean, I can't talk, y'all. 1.5 hours or around 2 hours or so until the beans get tender. But I'm going to cook them under pressure for like maybe 1 hour. As soon as this pot starts getting hot. Now, if you got clove garlic, you can put whole cloves of garlic in there. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more garlic powder. I'm going to put a little bit of Himalayan salt. And this is a grinder, so and I'll taste them and add more salt maybe at the end. I'm going to put a little bit of black pepper. I'll clean up my mess over here. Wash my colander and rinse it. Wash out the pot that I used and my coffee mug that I drank my Kona coffee in from Hawaii. And I may not leave it quite an hour. I may cut the time down to maybe half hour to 45 minutes under pressure, because I don't think they'll probably need a whole hour. But if you put them in your Instapot or whatever, just set your Instapot for an hour maybe. I just have the old-timey pressure pot. Building a mountain up here of dishes. And really, when you cook the 15 bean soup, you don't really need anything else with it. If you put ham hock or ham slices like I did in there, the country ham, you can even cook 3 or 4 or 5 chicken thighs in this. Turns out real well with chicken or turkey or even beef. You can put beef in there. I decided I was going to put my ham in there, because I had my ham left from last Christmas, and I need to go ahead and cook it because, you know, we'll be getting another ham for this year. So I'm going to go ahead and get this boiling. Get something to drink because it's so hot. I'm going to taste this for seasoning. I think that's going to do fine. And like I said, I may add more salt later. I don't know. But you know, there's salt in the ham. So you have to be careful. You don't want to salt it too much. That's a big pot of beans there, y'all. You could probably even put ground beef in that, because I put ground beef in my pinto beans. That's how I make my chili beans. There's a lot of variations you could do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it. It's not quite boiling yet. I wanted it to start boiling before I put the lid on. Watch pot never boils, does it, y'all? But it's very important to put your beans in your pot, fill it full of water, cover them with water, bring it to a boil for a couple of minutes, turn it off, let them sit there for an hour, drain your water off, and then pour your beans in a colander and rinse them off. because you'll be surprised how dirty the water looks. It's not really dirty, but it's dirty to me. But wash your beans off, let them drain, put them in your pot, and then add all of your other ingredients in with it. Some people add chicken bouillon if they want. I don't eat. Excuse me. I don't usually add chicken bouillon to my 15 bean soup because I've got all this other seasoning, and I've got my ham hock or my ham slices in there, which is seasoning enough with the season packet that came with it. Turn it up on high till I get it boiling. It's almost to the boiling point. Looking for my other pressure gauges. I don't see one of them. I don't know where they are. Well, I can use the one that's intended for it, I guess. Oh, man. I had another one out here, but I don't know what I did with it. But I can use this one. This is actually the one that came with this pot anyway. And I'll probably only put it under about 15 or 10 pounds of pressure. It'll take it a while because that ham was frozen. I forgot to tell you that. I had just taken it out of the freezer. I dug down in there and I found a couple more packages of sliced ham, but I couldn't find any that was the ham hock, the bone. So evidently I've already cooked the ham bone in something. I've got plenty of turkey bent bones in there, so I need to take them out and make some soup or something with. But this is going to be a lot of 15 bean soup for one person. But like I said, I can eat beans with my meals for the rest of the week, this coming week, and I can freeze part of it. But you put the lid on it. If you've never used a old-fashioned pressure cooker before, you put the lid on it. And there's a little lock that drops when it starts heating up. Let's see if I can click it. It locks the lid. If I can get it to drop down. There's a lever right there, and it will fall down after this thing is locked in place. And it does that to lock the lid on, actually. But usually it won't drop until it starts heating up. This has 15, 10, and 5 pounds of pressure. We'll put it on probably 5 to begin with. But there is a little latch that when it starts heating up and getting pressure, that little latch will drop and it locks that lid so it can't turn like this. It won't go either way until you unlock that little lever under there. But I got to stay with it until it starts to jiggle and that locks, because then I have to turn the heat down so it doesn't build up so much pressure and it blows this safety valve, pressure valve. I mean, there's a little, see that little red button? That's your safety valve right there, pressure valve. If it gets too hot, builds up too much pressure, it will blow that clean out. And that's what happened to me years ago. I left it under too much pressure for too long. It blew that little red thing out, and a stream of beans come up, and it was back here when it blew out on this other side. So all the beans went up, hit the under of this cap, you know, the cover, and all the beans were just dropping from the cover back down on the stove. I had the biggest mess, y'all. Needless to say, I have never let it build up that much pressure again. Never. And I never will, because it's too dangerous. I mean, thank God it went under the, like this, you know, it was under the lid. If it had been turned the way I had it to begin with, it would have blew all over the ceiling. And that would have been even a bigger mess. So be careful if you're using an old-timey pressure cooker, because it can get dangerous on you. I mean, they're perfectly safe to use, but you got to be mindful. You can't just turn it up on high and walk away and leave it, because if you do, it's like walking away from a bomb. It will explode sooner or later when it builds up too much pressure. I'm going to eat a little bit of beans and ham with my greens tonight, y'all. That's going to be my dinner when I get it cooked. And it'll be my beans for the rest of the week, plus what I put in the freezer. Not dropped yet. I think the way it regulates the pressure is the way the holes are made inside this, because each weight has a different hole and it has a different way for the heat to escape. So the higher the pressure, the less steam escapes from it. The lower the pressure, like 5, is going to be the less steam that escapes. But I'm going to keep this valve turned for under the cover, just in case it happens to blow. At least it will go on up under the counter, and it'll go on up under the cover, and it'll go back on the stove. It's not going to go on the ceiling, hopefully. But I don't think that's going to happen. And it should heat up a little bit faster since I got the lid on it. But just remember, when that thing starts jiggling, it'll go like that. Let it go and stop. It's got to wait a few minutes, and then it might jiggle again and stop. Wait a few minutes. If it does it any more than that, you've got too much pressure under there, because it's not supposed to jiggle constantly. Looking to see if my thing has dropped down yet, and I don't see it. I think it has dropped now, so it's starting to heat up. The lock has dropped, so it's got the handle secure. It can't move either way to open. It's almost built up 5 pounds of pressure, because when I wiggle it, the steam will come out. When I don't, it won't come out yet. Pretty sure, yeah, I got it on 5. I know it's kind of boring just to sit here and watch the pot, but I wanted to show you this. I don't want to just put the lid on it, put that on it, turn the camera off, and come back when I take the lid off. I wanted to show you what I'm talking about. It's 10. Don't remember what weight of pressure I put it under with those other weights. I think it could have been even 15, I don't know. Okay, when it does that, you start turning your burner down. See how it does it and it'll stop? Turning the pot kind of on low. Because I want to hear it jiggle like that, but I don't want it so close together, if that makes any sense. I want it to jiggle, stop, wait a couple of minutes, and then jiggle again. But regulate your temperature of your burner according to how often your weight jiggles. Turn it down just a tiny bit because I don't want it jiggling that often. breathing the steam that's coming out of that weight. And that's what's making me cough. But you see, you don't want it to steadily jiggle. That means the pressure's too high. You want it to jiggle, stop, wait a little bit, jiggle again. Like that. That means you got it under pressure, but it's not under so much pressure that it's steadily letting off steam. And we're going to let those cook for about an hour, and I'll bring you back. Well, we're back. My beans have been cooking under pressure for about an hour. I'm getting ready to take the lid off. But you got to make sure, turn your burner off, let it sit and cool down a little bit, and then when you can take the weight off and there's no more steam, or when you can wiggle the weight and there's no more steam coming out of it, then it's safe to take it off. And I've got to unlock it, which I run a knife under there. And you can safely unlock it like that. Woo! Some hot steam coming out of there. Gasket fell out as I took it off. Now I'll bring you over here and let you see what my beans look like. My soup, my 15 bean soup. Don't that look good, y'all? Don't think I can get it any closer. Let's see. There, that's a little better. But there is that ham. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slices of ham. So that's enough soup for 6 people. You could have 6 bowls of soup and a whole slice of ham for each person. Now usually after I get it to this point, I like to turn the heat back on it. And I like to cook it down just a little bit. And I want to try some of my beans to see how done they are. Because those pinto beans and those other beans take a little while to cook. And I just want to make sure that they're done. So I got to let them cool a minute and I'll try them and see how done they are. My beans are done. Now at this point, after tasting your broth, you can add salt, any more seasoning that you think you might need to add. I actually think there's enough seasoning in here. I don't think I'm going to have to add anything. But I kind of wished I had not put quite as much water. Because when you're using a pressure pot or an Instapot, you can cut down on the amount of water that you put into that dish, because you don't have that much water that evaporates out of your pot. So it always helps to cut down the water a little bit in whatever recipe you're cooking. I put the full 8 cups of water in here. And I probably only needed maybe 5 cups of water, or 6 at the most. But I'm going to let it boil and evaporate some of the water out of it. I like it thickened up a little bit, and that's the way I like my beans. or my bean soup. I don't like it real watery. But now at this point you can fix you a cake of cornbread, or you can fix say cornbread. You can fix a pan of homemade biscuits. You can fix even garlic toast. Any type of bread that you like, a dinner roll, any type of bread that you like to go with your beans, you can have with that. And this is going to be a complete meal. You got your beans, you got your meat, and if you have your bread, that's a complete meal. Or, you know, you can make a complete meal out of this with your bread, and then you can maybe add greens to it. You know, not in your pot, but you can add greens on the side to eat with it. Later on down the road through the week, you can heat up beans and have them as a side dish to whatever meal you're putting together. So that gives you beans almost every meal for about a week. Or you can freeze part of them. It's up to you. But I try to have beans about every day or every other day, and I try to have greens at least once a day to keep my gut healthy and everything. Because beans and greens are two of the things that are real good for your body, and your body needs it. So you get constipated a lot. You need greens. You need beans. You need the fiber. That's what you need. You don't need all this other stuff. You need beans, and you need, that's fiber. You need greens, that's fiber. I was going to say at this point I could take my ham out, but there's really no point in it. I'm going to leave my ham in there. And then as I eat it, you know, I'm just going to separate the ham slices because in a big chunk. Here, let me bring you back over here. They were sliced and frozen together. And I'm just going to separate them a little bit. Did you know how those spiral hams are? That's what that was. It was a Christmas spiral ham, sliced ham. Or you can fix a side of potatoes with this. Mashed potatoes or fried potatoes. But look at all this ham in here. That was 6 big pieces of ham that was left from Christmas that I threw in this pot. And like I said, you can put, instead of ham, you can throw chicken thighs, chicken legs in here. Chicken thighs are usually the best. Put 4 or 5 chicken thighs in there. You can cook these beans in a turkey carcass. You can cook these beans in that, you know, I had pulled out a beef. Well, let me see if I can find it. This is what I was first going to cook them in. I was going to take this beef shank out, bone in, and cook them in that. And then I decided to save this to make some vegetable soup with it. I'll have beef vegetable soup when I make with this. Because I first thought it was pork, and it's not. It's beef. And I'd rather have pork in my 15 bean soup. But the beans are completely done. You can stop cooking them at this point and serve them. Or, like I said, you can do like I'm doing. You can cook them a little bit more so the broth thickens up a little bit. I like a thicker broth with my soup. Or with my 15 bean soup. I don't like it real watery. But I mean, it's good that way. It's good either way. I felt like something biting me on my leg. I know there's nothing there. But look, that's good right there, y'all. Chunks of ham in there. And it's too hot to put in my mouth, y'all. Look at it smoking. But there's the lima beans and the pinto beans and the split peas and all that other stuff in there. Y'all take a bite. Be careful now, it's hot. Open wide. That is so good, but it is hot. And there's the ham. Take a bite of the ham. That was my Christmas ham that was left from Christmas. Remember, I put several packages in the freezer with the ham bone. And I had taken the ham bone out here a while back and fixed, I think, dried lima beans with it. Y'all, that is so good. Oh my God, it's so good. I just wish it wasn't so hot. Take another bite. There's some ham and beans all together right there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Because I think by the time it cools down and those beans start absorbing some of that liquid, it'll be just right. But that's good there, y'all. And all those little split peas, I think, have basically cooked all up. I don't see any little split peas in there. It was full of split peas. They've all cooked down and they're all in the broth. This is good, y'all. Lima beans and I don't know what other kind of bean that is. Navy bean, I think. Yeah, if you're going to cook it in the pressure pot or the Instant Pot, don't put 8 cups of water. Just put about 5 cups of water in it. 6 at the most. You don't need the 8 cups. And with that, I'm going to finish eating my half bowl of 15 bean soup. And then I'm going to let this pot cool down. And I'm going to see if I can freeze some of it and store some of it in the refrigerator to eat the rest of the week. And I'll see you later. Well, I brought you back because I wanted you to see how I save my beans, my bean soup, or whatever the dish is that I make. I've got these bowls. They're Rubbermaid with lids. You can freeze in them. And I usually take a couple of those and I start dipping out my soup. Put it in the bowl. I dip out some of the ham to go with it. I have to wipe off the bowl though. You don't want to leave anything on the edge of the bowl like that. Now I know some people will freeze even something like this in a bag, in a freezer bag. I prefer really to put mine in a container like this, a bowl with a lid. And we're probably going to get more than just these two bowls, which will be all right. Like I said, this will give me beans to eat the rest of the week with my other food. So I don't have to cook beans anymore this week. And I did a great big pot of greens the other night. Yeah, I waited till nighttime till it cooled off a little. And that's when I cook. So it's not quite as hot on me to try to cook and make my videos. It's a lot easier to do it at night. And these are still scalding hot. So I can't put them in the refrigerator or the freezer yet. Actually, I'm going to pop the lid sideways on them to let some air get through there. I'm not going to seal them up yet. Let it breathe a little bit. And then when they completely cool down, there's two of them. When they completely cool down, then I'll secure the lids on and I'll stick them in the refrigerator. And like I said, you can put one of them in the freezer if you want to. But we still got another bowl over here to do because I've still got some in the pot. Let's see what I can find to put those in. I got a little bowl, a little Tupperware bowl that I've had for ages. This will work. Big old slice of ham. So I'm getting 3 good sized bowls of 15 bean soup here. And like I said, you know, if you're 1 or 2 people, you can cook this way. Cook one big item each time you cook. That way you don't have to cook a whole bunch at one time. And again, I'm going to put this over here and let it cool. Move that over. And I'm just going to lay this on top, but I want it to breathe, so I'm not going to secure the lid. You can see how I just laid it on, so there is an opening so it can let out a little bit of steam. And I've still got some beans. I might just put this little bit in this bowl and go ahead and eat them tonight. Because I just sampled it basically before. Yeah, see? I've got 3 containers of beans that I can freeze 2 of them, put one in the refrigerator and eat out of it as I want. I've got this to finish tonight, and I'm going to wait and let it cool off though. But like I said, you can fix you some cornbread. You can fix you a pan of biscuits. Any kind of bread you want to eat with your bean soup. I mean, I think garlic bread would be real good to eat with it. Cornbread, dinner rolls, any type of bread that you feel fancy to eat, I think would go great. But you see right there, out of one bag of 15 bean soup, I've got 3 good-sized bowls of soup. There's a good, probably 3 servings in there for someone. In each bowl, there's about 3 servings. Unless you want a big bowl of soup, then you'll have only 1 or 2 servings. But that's the way I do it. That's how I eat healthy and live by myself and cook for just one person. I freeze a lot of stuff. So later, all I have to do is take it out and defrost it, put it with whatever I'm cooking, whatever meal I have that night. I've already got my beans, and I've got ham. I could just fix potatoes or a potato salad, fried potatoes, any type of other vegetable or starch that you'd want to go with these beans. Hey, you could even serve this on a bed of rice if you wanted to. I love red beans served on rice, kidney beans served on rice if they're cooked right. So that's an idea, several ideas that you got. But yeah, if you live alone and you're worried about cooking for yourself, and you want to eat healthy, just cook a big pot like you normally would and freeze part of it. Make you smaller. You don't even have to put them in bowls this big. Get some of these little containers, pint containers like this, and fill. That's a pint. So you would have a pint of 15 bean soup to eat with any meal, or eat it by itself and have bread to go with it. I mean, that's what I do. That's how I survive. I don't throw food away. I don't waste food. I cook it in quantities and then I freeze it. And that way I have basically my own TV dinners, So that's my tip on 15 bean soup. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Have a blessed day or night or morning or whenever you're watching this. I know everybody lives in different time zones. Some people may watch it at 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't know. But you have a blessed rest of your day. Have a blessed week. And I'll see you on my next one. And try it. You'll like it. Bye now. Love y'all.